all obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
The recording has started.
So once again, welcome to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce our today's speaker, His Grace Ramgiridhari Prabhuji. And Prabhuji is going to enlighten us by walking us through Srimad Bhagavatam 4.12.31 onwards. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, are you present on the call?
Hare Krishna. Can you hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji, we can hear you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, and thank you so much for giving us your valuable time and association this morning. I would like to hand over the call to you now. Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So let us read verse 31 as well as 32 today and discuss from there from the 4th canto, 12th chapter. I'll read verse number 31 with translation as well as 32 translation and purport. Tada dundubayo nedur vridanga panavatyaya gandharva mukhya prajahu petu kushuma vrishtaya. At that time, drums and kettle drums resounded from the sky. The chief Gandharvas began to sing, and other demigods showered flowers like torrents of rain upon Dhruva Maharaj. Text 32. Sachaswarlokam arokshyam sunitim jananim dhruva anvasmaradagam hitva dinam yase trivishtapam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Dhruva was seated in the transcendental airplane, which was just about to start. When he remembered his poor mother Suniti, he thought to himself, how shall I go alone to the Vaikuntha planet and leave behind my poor mother? Purport. Dhruva had a feeling of obligation to his mother Suniti. It was Suniti who had given him the clue which had now enabled him to be personally carried to the Vaikuntha planet by the associates of Lord Vishnu. He now remembered her and wanted to take her with him. Actually, Dhruva Maharaj's mother Suniti was his Path Pradaksha Guru. Path Pradaksha Guru means the Guru or the spiritual master who shows the way. Such a Guru is sometimes called Siksha Guru. Although Narada Muni was his Diksha Guru, initiating spiritual master, Suniti, his mother, was the first who gave him instruction on how to achieve the favor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is the duty of the Siksha Guru or Diksha Guru to instruct the disciple in the right way, and it depends on the disciple to execute the process. According to Shastric injunctions, there is no difference between Siksha Guru and Diksha Guru, and generally the Siksha Guru later on becomes the Diksha Guru. Suniti, however, being a woman and specifically his mother, could not become Dhruva Maharaj's Diksha Guru. Still, he was not less obliged to Suniti. There was no question of carrying Narada Muni to Vaikuntha Loka, but Dhruva Maharaj thought of his mother. Whatever plan the Supreme Personality of Godhead contemplates immediately fructifies. Similarly, a devotee who is completely dependent on the Supreme Lord can also fulfill his wishes by the grace of the Lord. The Lord fulfills his wishes independently, But a devotee fulfills his wishes simply by being dependent on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, as soon as Dhruva Maharaj thought of his poor mother, he was assured by the associates of Vishnu that Suniti was also going to Vaikuntha Loka in another plane. Dhruva Maharaja had thought that he was going alone to Vaikuntha Loka, leaving behind his mother, which was not very auspicious because people would criticize him for going alone to Vaikuntha Loka and not carrying with him Suniti, who had given him so much. But Dhruva also considered that he was not personally the supreme. Therefore, only if Krishna fulfilled his desires would it be possible. Krishna could immediately understand his mind, and he told Dhruva that his mother was also going with him. This incident proves that a pure devotee like Dhruva Maharaj can fulfill all his desires by the grace of the Lord. He becomes exactly like the Lord, and thus, whenever he thinks of anything, his wish is immediately fulfilled. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः नमः विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्या देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So, first of all, I offer my obeisances to all the assembled devotees. And thank you so much for being so consistent in doing this service every day. It's really, really inspiring and purifying. And thank you so much for engaging me in this service. So, we are coming to a very interesting uh, stage in this Dhruva Maharaj episode. So, Dhruva Maharaj is going to go to the spiritual world, and all the necessary arrangements, everything have been done. And now, before he boards, he suddenly remembered about his mother. And you will see in the very next shloka and some set of shlokas how Krishna has fulfilled Dhruva Maharaj's desire, and not only Krishna fulfilled the desire, but there's a very interesting lesson Krishna has taught through this episode. So, in our discussion today, let's churn these two verses and try to learn some lessons for us. Here, when Dhruva Maharaj is going to go to the spiritual abode, what is there for Gandharvas and demigods to shower flowers? It is Dhruva Maharaj who is going to go to Krishna. So it is a very interesting agenda between Dhruva Maharaj and Krishna. What is there for these Gandharvas, demigods, and all of them to be jubilant? We have to very subtly analyze this, that this jubilance and this celebration is not something dictated by Krishna for welcoming Dhruva Maharaj. It's not the Krishna's arrangement. Hey, you know what? Dhruva is coming, so please make sure that you all throw flowers. Of course, Krishna sent Nanda and Sunanda and Pushpak Viman. But otherwise, the joy, the celebrations, the pleasure, the happiness shown is communicating a very important message as practitioner devotees. As we progress in Krishna consciousness, how much are we happy about our progress and how much are we happy about Krishna consciousness as a process being thriving? So there are three parts to this first reflection. Number one, what is our frame of mind when we make a progress in Krishna consciousness? Number two, what is our frame of mind when others make progress in Krishna consciousness? And number three, what is our frame of mind when Krishna consciousness program is very nicely developing? All these three will tell a message about our consciousness. Gopis are always interested in serving Krishna and being with Krishna. Each of them have got so much longing to be with Krishna that they take any risks for that. But it is said that when all the gopis do Shringar to please Krishna, if they see Krishna getting more attracted to a particular gopi, then remaining all of them, they gather together to go and serve and decorate that gopi more nicely so that Krishna can be pleased. So a person who is practicing Krishna consciousness, when we are in the progressive path of purification, we need to know at every stage what is the next stage of purification. Whilst definitely we can be happy about what we got purified of, that celebration is good enough for a day. But what we need to achieve should be the spirit of a practicing devotee. So verse number 31 is communicating in a very subtle manner, if at all you want to draw some lessons, is about how, as a practicing devotee, my responsiveness to various situations. That's our first reflection. Materially speaking, the society at large, education system that we are exposed to, the friends circle that we have outside of Krishna consciousness devotees, everybody is self-centered and seeing to that what do they have as a benefit when they are involved in a particular activity. This is across the board, whether you are a United Nation, whether you are in a military, soldier, whatever you may call. If am I getting a benefit, so will I do it. Definitely, there are some exceptions where people have been selfless, but our agenda is not just be selfless. Our agenda should be to serve the super soul, not just the self or being selfless. Being in neutral stage is also considered marginal, but definitely better than being materialistic. So Krishna consciousness program is a scientific agenda where by we being a devotee, we elevate us, we elevate our surroundings, and we contribute for the reformation of the society at large. And the interesting aspect of all of them is, at the end, we do not want any credit. So Gandharvas and demigods, they are having celebrations because one more soul is joining Krishna's family. In the sense, as and when souls are going towards the spiritual abode, pure devotees or those who are well-wishers or those who are on the side of the Supreme Lord, they are very happy because that makes Krishna happy. Otherwise, Dhruva Maharaj going to spiritual abode could be just an information. Why do they celebrate? Because somewhere they share, somewhere they celebrate that because Krishna is going to be happy, Krishna's devotees are going to be happy, Krishna consciousness is getting expanded, so I am connecting myself, I am relating myself. So when we see Krishna consciousness spreading nicely, whether I am part of it or not part of it, I am happy about it. That is a broad-minded aspect of Krishna consciousness. So there are three categories of the three situations that we spoke about. Situation number one, if I make progress in Krishna consciousness, what should be my frame of mind? If I make progress in Krishna consciousness, my frame of mind should be that what is the next challenge? What is the next agenda? What is the next target? What is the next immediate service that I need to do to purify from this stage to the next stage? Not that we pat on our back and keep dwelling and having a daydream saying that how did I cross the previous stage? If somebody is constantly dwelling, you know what I'm initiated, you know what I'm second initiated, you know what I got Bhakti Shastri, you know what I did Bhakti Vaibhava, you know what I am Bhakti Sarvabhauma. If you are going on trying to pat on our back on what we have done and somewhere start to think it is because of my endeavor, somewhere start to realize it is because of whatever I am about, then we will still remain a Kanishta. So hence, it is extremely important as a practicing devotee how he need to frame his consciousness to be constantly in a mood to look forward to go to the next higher step, the next higher step, the next higher step. And every time when we are making progress to the next higher step, we constantly remember this is because of that person who showed me the way. Second, what should be the frame of mind of a person when your near and dear one is making progress? If we start to think he is making progress because of me helping, me being part of it, me giving support this, it's because of some component of me, then we are again remaining as Kanishta only. But if we are happy that this person is going to get situated in his constitutional position for the pleasure of the spiritual master, for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord, then we are making progress. The enviousness that we always speak about is directly proportionate to your narrow-mindedness and inversely proportionate to your broad-mindedness. And devotees are broad-minded. So if in your progress you give credit to yourself, in others' progress you try to compare how better you are with them, or you try to claim how much you have contributed to their growth, this propensity is Kanishta propensity. Hence, as practicing devotees, we need to rise up and try to develop the broad-mindedness. Broad-mindedness, first and foremost agenda of broad-mindedness is to take our hands off from the credit agenda. If I am doing anything for the sake of getting credit, getting benefited, then our devotion is adulterated. So hence the second category, when we see our fellow members progress, if we are happy and if we claim the credit to our spiritual authorities and parampara and not connect ourselves to that, we can be happy about our progress. And third is about the progress of the Krishna consciousness movement by itself. When we hear about the progress of Sankirtan movement, if you read Chaitanya Charitamrita in various episodes, all the associates of Mahaprabhu, they used to get extremely happy when they hear a news about somebody chanting Hare Krishna. In fact, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's preaching process was so strategic that every day in the evening, somebody used to present a report. This many number of preaching parties went out to preach. This many number of souls took up chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. This many number of souls, surrendered to this process of Bhakti Yoga. So Mahaprabhu used to get everyday report. And the whole team used to be very, very happy. The reason we are talking about this is somewhere in our Vaishnava tradition, because of our educational system, we are slowly losing this. We are trying to be envious amongst the devotees. We are trying to be taking credit for what we are doing. We are trying to look for things by which we will get benefited whilst we are doing devotional service. We are trying to perceive devotional service as a gross action, not anymore as a spiritual agenda. So these all that we are seeing of late in our devotee circles gives rise to one fundamental question: how is our Krishna consciousness practices? So hence, as a part of our first reflection, I would like to, recollect a song which Bhaktivinoda Thakur has, compiled called Boro Shupir Kabor Gai. In that, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is very nicely saying, Tumi Kimbe Krishna Naam, Tumi Kimbe Krishna Naam, Dasturi Loibo Ami Purna Habekam. So he is saying, you please buy the name of Krishna from the marketplace of holy name, Namahata, and I will take my commission and all of our desires will be fulfilled. person who is giving commission? The person who is giving commission is Krishna. So the message here is when Dhruva Maharaj is desiring about or searching for his mother, Krishna already proved his magnanimity, his broad-mindedness, his consideration for anyone who participated in winning souls to me. Look at what do they get. Because the next two verses later you are going to discuss how Vishnu Dutas have told Dhruva Maharaj, you look at, there's a Vimana in which already your mother is going ahead of you. And what did she do? She just did some insignificant, I can say insignificantly significant service to help Dhruva Maharaj win Krishna. So that is why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that dearmost persons are the one who talks about my devotees and who glorifies about my devotees to others. Those who claims to be my devotee are not necessarily my devotee. Those who claims to be my devotee's devotee are my devotee is what Krishna is claiming. So in our first reflection, we want to very strongly urge all the practicing members to somewhere or the other develop this sense of broad-mindedness. What stops us in becoming broad-mindedness is our set of vices. There are 6 Rakshasas which stops us in being broad-minded. Number one who is constantly being judgmental. Number 2, one who is constantly fault-finding. Number 3, one who is diplomatic. Number 4, one who is duplicitous. Number 5, one who is egoistic. Number 6, one who is envious. And there is one more, one who is a hypocrite. So these 6 Rakshasas who are all byproducts of our modern education, where these 7 qualities are not considered as something wrong. In the modern material world, being judgmental is finding fault is never considered as an abnormality. Diplomacy and duplicity are officially, legally, taught with so many strategies. Being egoistic is never a problem. In fact, if you are not egoistic, you have a problem. Being a hypocrite is a lifestyle. And enviousness is never spoken about, and it's completely, put under the wraps. So for us to become a broad-minded devotee, we need to learn to appreciate Vaishnavas. If we do not learn to appreciate Vaishnavas, so appreciation is the counteracting component for killing these demons. So learn to genuinely appreciate Vaishnavas for what their accomplishments are, independent of your involvement or not. And hence, you see such behaviors. This is not the only place. Every time when any soul goes to the spiritual abode, demigods throw their flowers and welcome them because their master, the desires of their master is getting fulfilled. Krishna is going to be pleased and this Vaishnava is going to have an eternal life of happiness. And this celebration tells about our broad-mindedness. If I am getting more and more service from my spiritual master, if my fellow members are not so happy about it, that's not a very good state to be in. So in our progressive journey of Krishna consciousness, If you want to test your spiritual quotient, test yourself when your fellow devotees are getting more recognition, more reward, more appreciation. What's your frame of mind is? If you are having a very, very heavy heartbeat, then you have a problem. When you have a very jubilant heartbeat, when you are very excited, ecstatic, genuinely, not just from a show off perspective, then definitely we are getting into the broad minded zone. Krishna does not like a narrow minded heart. The narrow minded person will eventually be a para dukkha sukhi. He will derive happiness in others' distress and para dukkha sukhi. In everybody's happiness, he is distressed. So, our first and foremost agenda or the reflection in today's discussion is about how do I deal in those three circumstances. That is why, in our own daily life, apart from our sadhana, apart from helping our fellow members, sadhana, family members, or friends, let us be responsible as a member of Krishna consciousness movement and contribute for a broad minded agenda. And if we can't do anything because of any restriction, at least we as practitioners can pray for all those who are involved in active preaching in Krishna consciousness. So, in recent episode in Indian ecosystem, where the soldiers are constantly appreciated because of their selflessness and they are protecting the country. But the real soldiers for us are those who are practicing Krishna consciousness, who are preaching Krishna consciousness, who are taking Krishna consciousness all over the place. So whenever we go to Vrindavan Dham, whenever we go to Mayapur Dham, it's our custom in our group that we sit in front of Prabhupada Samadhi or we sit in front of any Acharya Samadhi and pray for all those preachers all over the world to help them preach Krishna consciousness nicely. Because of some family restrictions, you, me, and others are not able to participate physically. But by we appreciating and contributing towards the success of the preaching program is something very well desirable, and we can pray for them. There are so many people who are risking their lives. There are so many people who are taking inconveniences to themselves. There are so many devotees who have gone past their comfort zone to preach Krishna consciousness. So let us pray for them, help them, and celebrate their success. By that way, the Krishna consciousness movement will thrive and more souls will come to the lotus feet of Krishna. And eventually, these 6 demons in our heart, or the 7 demons in our heart, will naturally get weak and eventually die off. And we will eventually go back home, back to Godhead. So, Dhruva Maharaj's success is just not Dhruva Maharaj's success. All of us can celebrate, all of us can have a very happy moment when we hear such wonderful achievements of devotees. That shows our devotional character. Principle number 2 is on verse number 32. This 32 verse is technically explaining about a very interesting part where Srila Prabhupada explains about Pat Pradashya Guru. So we always mentioned in many sessions about gratitude and humility. In this shloka, Srila Prabhupada has very nicely explained about how Dhruva Maharaj is expressing his feeling of obligation to Mother Suniti. In our journey to Krishna consciousness, we have so many situations in which we have achieved, accomplished, progressed in Krishna consciousness. But if you analyze the successes and achievement, they are because of somebody who paved the way. In a typical old Indian ecosystem before the technology revolution, if you have to go from point A to point B, which is unknown to you are at the mercy of so many people on your way and asking them the direction, we move on. And when you reach the destination, we should remember and be indebted, thankful, have a very nice gesture of appreciating such people without whom you would have not reached the destination. But Pavashya Guru may not have spent a whole lot of life with you in your Krishna consciousness agenda. But just because of them connecting you to the bona fide process of Krishna consciousness, they deserve to be worshipped, appreciated, thanked, glorified, and we should show our indebtedness towards them. Had they not been there, they would have continued to remain and rot in this material world. So Dhruva Maharaj felt that had Suniti not been there, how I would have met Narada Muni. Both Dhruva Maharaj and Narada Muni, both of them expressed a similar notion when the Supreme Lord spoke to them. When Prishni when Dhruva Maharaj was having darshan of the Supreme Lord, in his conversation with Narada Muni, when Prahlad Maharaj had a conversation with Nrsimhadev, he thanked Narada Muni. So Krishna is inviting such souls to the spiritual abode, knowing their heart is in glorifying their spiritual master for all their success. So the second reflection is about how do we take responsibility for all our activities and how do we give credit to our predecessors for all our successes. When we succeed, how do we share them? How do we declare them as it belongs to the predecessors? And how, when we fail, we take it upon ourselves? So that's our second reflection, where Srila Prabhupada explained that it was not necessary for Dhruva Maharaj to talk about Narada Muni to be taken to the Vaikuntha planet because he is already a very special devotee. But because Suniti did not have necessary association as Dhruva Maharaj thought with Krishna, Dhruva Maharaj was kind enough to think about her, include her, and try to worry, can she also be part of this success? So in our spiritual life, when we are making progress in Krishna consciousness, it is our utmost duty to somewhere or the other take responsibility for our action and give credit to our predecessor acharyas. Taking responsibility for our action will shield us from being proud, will shield us in overlooking the important aspects of devotional journey. So it is extremely interesting how Dhruva Maharaj, at the time of boarding the aeroplane to go back to the spiritual abode, was considering about his mother, even though she didn't quite spend quality time. it is told that in comparison with Srila Prabhupada's God brothers, Srila Prabhupada had got very limited time of association with his spiritual master Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj. In terms of physical proximity, Vapu Seva, Srila Prabhupada had got very limited opportunity to serve Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj through his physical association. But what Srila Prabhupada inherited, what Srila Prabhupada has absorbed, what Srila Prabhupada carried forward of his spiritual master's mission is something that even all the other disciples were together with Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, they couldn't do it what Srila Prabhupada had accomplished. So hence the second reflection is in our journey of Krishna consciousness, how much we exhibit the sign of broad-mindedness, how much we exhibit the sign of accepting responsibility and giving credit to the spiritual authorities, friends, and even so-called support members tells us a lot. The third reflection is about what Srila Prabhupada has written in the paragraph number 2. Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport of text number 32 the assurance given by Krishna's devotees. And Krishna's understanding our mood. It is time and again discussed that how Krishna sits as Paramatma. He watches over every action of us and he is trying to give direction. He is trying to give support. He is trying to give acknowledgement. Similarly, if we have sincere desire to serve eternally, Krishna personally facilitates. The moment we think about it, you already the time lag. It's not some processing time or some uh, whatever tests that Krishna do. No, as soon as we desire to serve Him sincerely, Krishna sanctions them if they are a broad-minded agenda. That is why the third reflection is about the prayer from Bhagavad Gita chapter 9 text number 27. Yat karoshi, yad asnasi, yad jahosi dadasi, yad tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurushva madarpanam. O son of Kunti, all that you do, all that you eat, all that you offer and give away, as well as all austerities that you may perform, should be done as an offering unto me. So Krishna was very categorical with respect to what we do, what we eat, what we offer, what we give away, what austerities we perform. He's saying, don't do it independently. I think it went wrong. That's fine.
Yes, Mataji, I think it got dropped off, so we're just waiting for them to get back. Lalitangi Mataji, would you mind trying? Trying to connect him? Maybe Lavanya Mataji? Lalitangi Mataji, are you still there?
Hare Krishna Mataji, she might have to go drop her son.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who else is there, Mataji?
Vardhana Mataji is there.
Who was that?
Vardhana Mataji.
Yeah, I think she was there.
Yeah, she can go. Lavanya Mataji, can you protect Prabhuji?
I think her one is just done.
Okay, okay.
I have one is message, but I don't know the number. Whose number I can connect if someone knows whose number.
Yeah, we'll send it.
Okay, thank you.
Send Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, you are in the call now?
Hare Krishna, yeah.
Others can hear now?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize. When did I got thrown off? I hope I was not speaking for too long without being connected. So, can somebody help me? What was the last that you all heard?
You were speaking on the second paragraph of the 32nd verse, Prabhu. You were telling about how when devotees desire, Krishna fulfills if
Okay.
the God-minded agenda.
Yes. Okay. So I was talking about how Krishna is explaining. Srila Prabhupada is explaining about the comparison between Krishna getting his desires fulfilled and devotees' desires getting fulfilled. Srila Prabhupada writes here that for Krishna's desire to be fulfilled, he does not need to depend on anybody else's mercy or anybody else's sanction. Because of Krishna being Swaraj, all his desires get fulfilled and they get manifested. And then he's explaining about Dhruva Maharaj's desire getting fulfilled. He says that because Dhruva Maharaj is a sincere devotee of the Supreme Lord, just by him desiring Krishna naturally being attached to Dhruva Maharaj, before even Dhruva Maharaj has to state his desire, fulfills his desire. If you read the last line of this purport, he says that this incident proves that a pure devotee like Dhruva Maharaj can fulfill all his desires by the grace of the Lord. He becomes exactly like the Lord. So the point of conversation is about how in our this was the third reflection I was coming to, that how in our spiritual life we need to fructify this feeling. We need to make sure that how this feeling of Krishna consciousness within us needs to be very nicely cultivated and weeds need to be removed. So I was just going to explain about the 6 steps or 6 phase process of Krishna consciousness, which will help us to uh, glide through or reach the stage what Guru Maharaj has reached. I thought of elaborately discussing this, but I'm running short of time. I didn't know how much time I lost in between. So at least I will take those 6 steps and how we move forward in each of those steps. We eventually reach the stage where we get the privilege of wishing something about the Supreme Lord's service, and we are facilitated for that service by the Supreme Lord Himself. Like how Guru Maharaj thought about, desired about something, Krishna already sanctioned without being asked for. So the 6 stages are sinful. Sinful stage is the stage 1 because that's where we all begin our life. The stage of ignorance, complete ignorance, no trace of Krishna consciousness. That's the beginning point for most of us, unless we are blessed, born, or descended devotees. Otherwise, our first phase in life is the sinful life. But when we come in contact with the devotee, by the mercy of the devotee, and get introduced to Krishna consciousness, we receive the seed. So the step 2, the phase 2 of our life is we continue to remain sinful, but one step forward was that previously we never had the seed of bhakti. Now the seed of bhakti is received, or it is already provided to us because of just being in contact with the devotee. So the stage 2 is receiving of the seed. Bali Maharaj's son, Nachketu, is glorifying the Lord. He is glorifying the Lord, but he's saying exactly the same point, that I was so fortunate to receive the seed of the Supreme Lord's dearmost devotees, through which I will be able to make progress. So when we receive the seed, and if we still associate with devotees and start to learn practicing of Krishna consciousness, maybe just from a knowledge perspective, we are tilling the ground and sowing the seed. The knowledge that we learn, the Siddhanta that we learn, will help us in tilling the heart, which was completely with rubbish for so many years, so many lifetimes. By just hearing Bhagavatham regularly, by practicing Krishna consciousness from a Siddhanta perspective, not even putting into more active application, just by hearing Krishna Katha, we slowly move from a sinful life to a sinless life, even though it is still not completely clean, but we are out of sinful life, started following 4 regulative principles. So we may have still some offenses, we may have still some shortcomings, but because this hearing process has stilled the heart, the seed that we received from a Vaishnava can be sown. So the step 3 or the phase 3 is sinless but offensive, which is the stage of tilling and sowing seed. Then we start work on our sadhana more nicely, better putting into application, learning to practice in our life. So that's the stage where we become sinless, offenseless, and proper watering to the Bhakti Lata is actually happening. So our sincere sadhana, our honest guided introspection, our application of Krishna consciousness, all of them happen very effectively to make us offenseless devotee, which is a very important stage for us to prepare ourselves to go to the spiritual journey very steadfastly focused. That's stage 4, which is of watering and cleansing their sinless and offenseless stage. With more and more love, Vaishnava relationship, exchanges of uh, love between devotees, exchanges of service opportunities, and no upadhis, then what happens? The bhakti starts to sprout in our heart. When we give up upadhi, when we have more love towards spiritual authorities, and we start claiming responsibility for our actions, and we start giving credit to our predecessors for our actions, then bhakti sprouts in our heart. Bhakti manifests. That's a phase 5 or stage 5. The stage 6 is the stage of fructifying, which is what is the stage where Guru Maharaj is in. These are all some logical understanding. I mean, Rupa Goswami has explained about 9 stages from Shraddha to Prema. Then Jiva Goswami has explained about 5 different stages of meditation. And Raghunath Das Goswami has explained in so many wonderful ways in Mana Siksha. So many people have explained. All of them are trying to encourage Krishna consciousness is a process. Please stick on to this process, and at every stage, make sure that what next needs to be thought through at the same time of you giving credit to your predecessors for whatever achievement that you have done upon yourselves. So to consolidate our learning today, I just want to see that we had 3 sets of reflections as a part of verse number 31 and 32. Verse number 31 was mainly talking about being broad-minded and how we need to reflect upon ourselves when we make progress in Krishna consciousness, when our near and dear ones make progress in Krishna consciousness, when Krishna consciousness as a movement is making a progress, and what is your perspective when such a progress is happening? If we start trying to claim credit for ourselves for our progress, and we start claiming credit for others' progress because of our contribution, then we are still a narrow-minded devotee, still a Kanishta. So we discussed about how when we are making progress in Krishna consciousness, we should always be looking forward for the next stage to cross over rather than the stages that we already crossed over and feeling proud about it or thinking giving credit to our achievement. And when others are making progress in Krishna consciousness, we should definitely appreciate and be very happy, and definitely we should be constantly praying, constantly yearning that this Krishna consciousness movement spread all over the world to win Krishna's attention. And Krishna is a magnanimous personality that when a devotee makes such an endeavor, Krishna immediately gives credit to that. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in a very practical manner, he said that our due commission will be given by Nitai. Nityananda Prabhu is a very eager person to give you commission when you give one soul to Namhata Bazar. So if we bring in a devotee, our commission is credited, and with that credit, we become very rich in our spiritual account. And the second reflection that we had was about the point of how we need to take responsibility for our action and give credit to our predecessors. And we discussed about Pat Pradaksha Guru. It is not about the amount of time that somebody needs to spend in somebody's spiritual life for making a progress. It is about the intensity of the association. It is about the importance that we give to an association that makes the necessary result manifest. In case of Srila Prabhupada, association with Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj was not as intense as other of his god brothers, but Srila Prabhupada could understand Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj's heart and got the result. And hence, in our own spiritual life, it is not the proximity that matters. What matters is about how much we inherit the directions given to us. In case of Guru Maharaj, he was very indebted, he was feeling very grateful for his mother's contribution, and hence he thought about her and wanted to definitely give credit to her. The third reflection that we have is about Krishna's, Srila Prabhupada's comparison about Krishna's desire getting fulfilled vis-a-vis devotee's desire getting fulfilled. And finally, Srila Prabhupada is comparing and saying, at the point in time when a devotee is absolutely spotless in his desire and character, his functioning is almost becoming like that of a Lord, because whatever a pure devotee desires, it also gets automatically manifested. Of course, the sanctioning person is the Supreme Lord, whilst in the case of Supreme Lord, nobody else needs to sanction it. It's just Krishna's desire and it will get manifested. But Prabhupada goes on to explain that a devotee becomes exactly like that of the Lord, and his wish can be fulfilled. And hence, if we try to win the mercy of a self-realized soul, then our spiritual journey is assured enough. So I'm sorry for the snag that in between that we had. With this, I end here. If there are any questions or comments, we can discuss.